we could have a long discussion about Alzheimer's. There's a variety of reasons for it, everything from what you call the natural or the physical reasons for it, everything from aluminum to elements that are in the water to some of the other chemicals that are in your day-to-day life. But these are not actually causing the Alzheimer's. They just happen to be more present with an Alzheimer patient. Alzheimer's has to do with this whole process of interdimensionality, in walking between the worlds, in a certain desire to expand, to explore some of the other realms, but sometimes it causes, you understand here, sometimes it causes grief for those back on Earth. A lot of times those who are experiencing Alzheimer's are actually, when they're in that in the Alzheimer's mode, in what would appear to be forgetful, are actually traveling interdimensionally, and they're having a wonderful time. Now, it doesn't do much good for their body or their mind back here, but they are going out and testing the other dimensions. Sometimes they go back into these near-Earth realms to explore what it's going to be like when they do cross over. It's a condition that doesn't need to be, but again, it is a type of consciousness affliction that's happening right now. They're also some of the pioneers who are venturing out multidimensionally while still in the body. So don't look at this as a negative thing, although when you see a parent or a friend with Alzheimer's, it's sometimes very difficult to accept. When your presence is with them, when you go to visit, for instance, a funny thing happens, as Katumi would say. You also join in the interdimensional or the expanded consciousness mode with them. It is like now they have a friend to go on the journey with. So it is beneficial to do this, but don't put that as a requirement to do it every day or every week. Do it when you feel it in your heart. When you're talking to an Alzheimer's patient, for any of you, don't talk to them like they're idiots. Don't talk to them like they're stupid. They're just multidimensional. Join them in the multidimensional experience, but do it a little different. Stay very present in your body. Do some breathing. Be in the now moment. And then expand your energy to meet theirs. Go on a trip with them. Generally, what they're doing is going out of their body. They're leaving the now moment, and they're going off on their little side trips. You can join them, but you can stay in the now moment. Now, as a standard, that's going to send a signal to them. That's going to let them know you can expand, you can be multidimensional, and still be totally in the now. Part of the issue with Alzheimer's is several things. The mind itself, the mass consciousness mind is changing right now. But also the other part of Alzheimer's is people start to shift out early. In other words, they're on track for death. The death trigger has been activated within their body. But yet, because of the situation on the planet, they tend to live a little bit longer. So they weren't necessarily expecting to be around here for extra years. So in a way, the trigger has been pulled for death, but they're not leaving yet. So they go into kind of an in-between zone. They're sometimes here, sometimes not. You combine that with the changes in the mass consciousness mind, and now you've got the issue of Alzheimer's. If you have loved ones with Alzheimer's, right now, there's not a good medical cure for it. So basically, they're going to live a very ungraceful life and cause a lot of issues with the people around them. As strange as it sounds, but I'm going to tell you, if you're with somebody with Alzheimer's, sit with them, breathe with them, and let them know it's okay to go. It's okay to go. I'm not saying to force them to go. But hold their hand and say, it's okay to go. And death is not a frightening thing at all. I mean, it is to the human looking at it that it's pending, but the death process is so beautiful. As I've said for so long, birth is the real tough one, but let them know it's okay to go, because they're right now, until some other things change, they're not going to get better. Quality of life is going to get worse and worse, and there's no dignity in that. And it will mean a lot to them. They're going to hear it at some level. It's okay to go, and spare the lack of dignity. Right now, there's not an effective treatment for it, not a reversal on it. You can prolong it, but I would ask you, why prolong? Why stay here in an undignified state? Any of you, whether it's something like Alzheimer's or anything, die with dignity, die with choice.
An enlarged prostate, and with that, actually, a weakened bladder.
Yes.
And I know my grandfather had that also.
That is definitely a biological or ancestral issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one that goes through.
Yeah.
Good. How do you feel overall about your biology?
Actually, it's been a concern the last year, especially with what I mentioned earlier.
Right.
And with that said, I also have chosen not to take any meds or treat it, and to allow. And actually, in doing that, it seemed like it got worse.
So no medications.
No medications.
Why?
I choose to do it by allowing and naturally.
Okay.
My body healing itself.
Okay. Good. At times medications are beneficial if there's a urgent need for it. What I don't particularly care for is when people don't have a particular need, but they're taking a lot of supplements and medications where there's not a medical issue per se. It's their mental or energy issue. So.
And I think, with that said, I think I'll probably start a med or two.
Yeah, give it a try and see what it's like. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just questioning sometimes why people take some of the medications. There's a lot of gifts in modern medicine or in ancient medicine as well. And it's really the consciousness in which you take it that's the most important. Okay. Basically, you mentioned the issue about the prostate, and it's a family issue, but it's also a fairly common new issue, contemporary issue. There are more neurons in the belly than there are in the brain. Truly, people don't know that. They think all the receptors and the neurons and everything else is all in the brain. There's more in the belly. There's more feeling and life force energy in the gut, in the lower area, the abdomen, the hips, your reproductive organs. There's more life force there than up here. Now, it's also the place where the sexual energy virus resides, because there's a lot going on down there. And the prostate issues that you're talking about are related to that. There's an old ancestral issue about sex and about properness, being proper, and they weren't exactly what I would say sexually liberated family. Especially if you go back a long ways, you probably were the most maverick of all, but the family was kind of Victorian in a way. So there was a lot of suppressed energies that show up then in something like that, and we're going to go beyond that. Most irritating thing.
Okay, I'm going to go for it here.
Please.
Dry vagina. Dry vagina.
Oh! I thought you said
drive to China.
I thought you said drive to China, and I was going to be okay.
I was like, you can't drive to China.
Oh no!
Let's deal with the driving to China, though.
Post-menopause. The goal part
Why?
heads south.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why do you have this condition?
Every woman my age has this condition.
Bull.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Do you want it?
No.
Go ahead. Why do you think, other than every other woman having and all the rest of that, what do you think is going on with that?
Well, I think there's a design flaw in menopause.
No, there's not. And quite frankly, I have to wait till my reveal to really not get into it, but to discuss it more in detail. But there is sexual abuse. Most everybody's had it to degrees, some more than other. There is the shutdown of the sensuality of sex. There is the I'm too old for sex. It was never fun anyway. Never had the right partner. Had more fun by myself, but doing it by myself, that God doesn't like that, and all these other things. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, do you think it's going to be a rainstorm down there? No, it's going to dry up, and it's like it's not needed anymore. It's not useful anymore. So it's just, okay, I'm going away. And it's time to return to sexuality, but you're going to have a really hard time with that. Sexuality, returning to sexuality, to be. Yeah, it's a return. Yeah. Of course, that Cauldre would not teach, but Alam would love to teach it in his new creative French approach. Yes, the return to sexuality. So no, it's the shutdown of the sensual being. Why?
Because women my age are not desirable.
Bull. That's not true at all. Some of my greatest love experiences, and Cauldre gets so embarrassed when I talk. My greatest love were what I would call the mature women, the young women. They don't know what they're doing. They scream a lot. They talk too much. And then it was no fun, and it's over right away. And they're like, oh, Adamus, oh, you've worn me out. And it's like, the more mature woman, it's like, baby, let us spend another night together. No, sensuality in men and women increases with age. It should increase with age. You become more sensual, more experienced, more free with your body, less inhibited about what people think. At a certain point, you just don't give a damn anymore. And it's like, just go for it. Whether it's with yourself, a partner, many partners, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But there's no reason for it. Sensuality increases with wisdom. Watch what happens later today. Sensuality increases with wisdom. Now, take a deep breath, have a drink of water, and bring it back, baby. It's a new T-shirt for Sarge. Bring it back, baby. We'll know what the T-shirt means.
So are you saying if we know something's going to help us, don't do it? Because I want to talk about menopause for a moment.
Sure.
I know if I take some balancing hormones, I feel better. My life is better. Thoughts? Suggestions?
Never had that issue.
I'm just saying. The women out there know, right? Is it not hard to make it through without something? Maybe it's just me.
The body has everything,
There's a lot
all the potential energy or dynamics in it right now to provide whatever vitamins, enzymes, other things that are needed, everything within it. Yes, you can take these things because you believe, somebody told you along the way that it's going to help you. And it was recommended. A friend told you you were up late one night at 2 o'clock in the morning and there was a menopause commercial on. That's what women with menopause do. They watch television at 2 in the morning. So you believed it and you think it's going to help you. So you take it and it kind of does. But what happens if you take that same passion and say, oh, my body knows how to take care of it. On top of that, the light body doesn't even know this thing called menopause. Menopause has something to do, we'll do a whole thing on it sometime, but it has to do with the sexual Isis energy and then transforming into, you could say, more of a grand dame energy. It doesn't need to be so sexual anymore. It just becomes the motherly energy. And the body goes through a few changes, and it's gotten really, really rough in recent generations or era because the woman has no idea whether she should be sexy or not sexy, or a man or a woman or anything anymore. So menopause has gotten to be more of a problem. And then they take all this crap, because you take all this stuff because you're not sure whether you should be sexy or motherly or smart or male or anything anymore.
I'll be
It
above.
is so confusing.
When was the last time you were a female?
That's right.
For God's sake.
Well, actually, about a week ago. So that's what I say. You're going to walk out. A lot of you are going to walk out of here and say, yeah, but I'm going to still keep taking the so-and-so. I don't care. I gave you all the basics for being in your light body. I said it's as easy as taking a deep breath and allowing the transformation. But you're going to walk out the door and run down to this pharmacy down the street and say, well, yeah, I'm almost out of my whatever. You can do that if you want, but the rest of you who say, you know, I'm going to get off of this old energy biology, I'm going to step into my light body, and I'm going to be graceful and at ease, and I'm going to save a lot of money by doing so, that you still owe me 10. So I'm going to do it gracefully, and then you'll experience that. It will happen. It's a natural evolution. Everything else is rather unnatural. And humans have been conditioned that they have to take stuff.